Signs of the Southland for Sunday, November 16th, 2025. Your weekly marriage of Georgia Tech numbers and words is up on deck. My name is Akshay Easwaran, and joining me from beautiful Atlanta, Georgia, is none other than Jack Purdy. Jack, it's a two-man booth today. How you doing? How you feeling? Your heart rate down yet after yesterday's squeaker?
Man, that game wasn't helpful. I was moving all day and like that day, like yeah, that morning and the night before. So I was already like frazzled from just like all the changes happening and like, oh no, I don't have this thing. I can I even make food tomorrow? Like I had all those like thoughts that a mid-20s guy can have sometimes when you move into a new place for the first time. And so that game didn't help uh, with the emotions whatsoever. At least the watch party I was at had a very healthy tech crowd, which was very nice to at least be in good company with folks that we know. Uh, Nonetheless, it was predictable, I guess. Like I was in the boat of I was fully in the boat of the last two games of like these two teams aren't good enough that we should be fine. Like we'll score enough and that'll be the end of it. And we did score exactly 36 points in the last two games, both times, and only barely. I mean, our point differential is still negative these last two games. So that's worrying considering it's NC State and Boston College.
Yeah, NC State, a little bit more formidable than Bill
For
O'Brien's
sure, for
Fighting
sure.
Golden Eagles. But I guess if you play two 50-50 games, in theory, you come out on top in one of them.
Yeah.
And Georgia Tech did a 36-34 walk-off victory in Chestnut Hill, in which Tech overcame an 11-point halftime deficit, or excuse me, a second half deficit to win by two. Some notes on the record and sort of what the stakes are for moving forward. This is the 10th time that Georgia Tech has been at least 9-1 after 10 games, 10th time in program history. And this means that for all intents and purposes, next week's fixture versus Pitt, who we'll talk about in a bit, is a ACC Championship game semifinal.
Yep.
So, yeah, mark that on your calendars because it's gonna be spicy. But we'll talk about Pitt in a minute. Let's talk about Boston College first, starting with our drive summary, Mr. Purdy.
Uh, Similar to I mean, similar to NC State, lots of scoring, more rant, just nothing happening drives that included the first two drives for Tech and Boston College, where we allowed a 67-yard game, but no one scored anything. Our second drive, Malachi Hosley had a fantastic drive with three big plays, scored a touchdown. We go up early. Uh, then Boston College runs down our throats. Turbo Richard had a great game against us. He hit a 4th and 1 from the goal line to tie it early in the second quarter. Uh, on our third drive, we finally hit King and Rivers. They tried multiple times. They hit a big gain on this drive. It seems like okay, they've got this dialed in finally. And then the next play, Trey Maddox fumbles it away, and we give the ball right back. Thankfully, Boston College goes three and out before Malik Rutherford hits a bubble screen for 71 yards for a 14-7 lead. At that moment, we're mid-second quarter. It feels like we're like, okay, we're hitting our stride. We unlocked a big play there again after doing it the previous drive. That's good for us. And then Boston College has to punt the next drive. Our fifth drive, so we're getting later in the second quarter. We get three first downs. Like we were moving the ball throughout this first half. It's fine. And we still have to punt in that drive, which is so annoying. And then Boston College gets right back at us to get a 40-yard completion. And then we allow a 3rd and 11 conversion to give them goal to go, which is super, super frustrating. And they're able to tie it with 22 seconds left, which we make use of those 22 seconds. We get a good kick. Boston College had an unsportsmanlike conduct, so they had a kick from really far back. So we got short field. Isaiah Canyon and Eric Rivers both got catches. We're in field goal range. We used our timeouts properly, but Aiden Burr somehow left a 49 yarder short. Like it looked good on television, but that thing was a yard short from my friends in the stadium, which sucks. But that basically means that Boston College gets a double possession coming out of the second half. They score on that. We just do not do anything on that. Our next drive with a chance to tie it at 21-21, Jamal Haynes drops what would have been a walk-in touchdown like it was an easy screen pass. He just straight up drops it JT Burns style, sadly. We have to kick 21-17. It's feeling like the NC State game again, where we have touchdown opportunities. We're literally dropping touchdowns and settling for field goals. It's not good. And it gets worse because then not Isaiah Bond, but Bond, their last name Bond on Boston College gets the career receptions record on a super wide open pass, and Turbo Richard made Kyle Eford look like fire kindling, like absolutely shedded a Kyle Eford tackle like it was nothing. And they go up 28-17. We're late in the third quarter here, and it's panic. It's close to panic time. Like we saw this exact story before, and it's not going well. Once again, we get the ball down the field, but we can't punch it. Have to settle for another field goal. So we're down 28-20 early in the fourth, and then somehow we stopped them on two straight drives. Now, I say we stopped them. It's mostly because Boston College was dropping the football. But we managed to score a touchdown on Jamal Haynes' score, which is so good. We try a very cutesy 2-point conversion play that was it was never good in the first place, and Boston College knew exactly where the ball was going to, and that was Haynes King. So we're down 28-26 with 7:33 left. Stop them again. Jordan Allen, 54-yard rushing touchdown. Absolutely incredible. Gets us up 33-28. The comeback has gone our way. We've completed the comeback. And then the defense decides we'll just give it right back, and that's exactly what we did. Turbo Richard had a 43-yard touchdown. And I mean, talk about deflated. It felt awful. We're down 34-33 after they drop a 2-point conversion. So it sets up to where we can hit a game-winning field goal. And we actually do a very good drain clock, run-heavy drive and set up Aiden Burr for a chip shot to win 36-34. There was some timeout weirdness going on, but Brent Key didn't realize we didn't get a first down on a play that looked like a first down, and he overshot his timeout call by about 8 seconds, but it's fine. It worked out.
I
And
will
we
say,
are,
sorry, just to jump in on that one.
yeah.
Brent mentioned in the post game. Sorry, I'm getting the second hand, but I heard Brent mention in the post game that the crew on the field signaled first down. So he felt it was necessary to say, "Hey, I'm going to call the timeout. We're going to center the ball,
Yep.
and then I'm going to call timeout again to get the crew on the field."
Which makes sense. Yeah, we had two timeouts. That's the right way you want to use them there. And then it ended up being fourth down and one. It's like, well, you have to kick now. So, uh,
Yeah, you have to kick down. You have no choice. I will say, still, it's it's one of those things where, if it's not like if it's not what you expect on the field, then you should probably get the timeout back.
I don't know.
That's one of those weird things. Like, I don't know. Like, mm,
That that probably is refereed differently game to game based on what's going on. Like, there's no telling
yeah,
what. So I don't really want to worry about that. But nonetheless,
it's
we're not in.
irritating.
It's irritating. I felt irritated after we won this game, just in general. Like this did not feel like a win in any way, shape, or form. Aside from the fact that on paper we did actually win the game. Um, it, I think a lot of us are feeling confused. Like we know now for a fact this defense does not have what it takes to stop any team that's going to be worth their salt in the playoff conversation. Pittsburgh losing this past week's Notre Dame was helpful-ish. Not really. I mean, they don't really care about that Notre Dame game. It doesn't impact their future standing in the conference.
Oh, and Pat
Which,
Narduzzi would
yes,
love to remind you about that.
they may as well have lost by 100 in that game. But I mean, this defense problem. This defense problem is a massive problem. Like this is not a thing that's going to win us football games against really good teams. And North Carolina State was good enough. It was the end of we were at the end of a not so we were at the end of a month-long straight of play, which I think is not the best excuse, but it was something. But we had 2 weeks to prepare for this. Boston College regularly was scoring under 20 points, aside from like when they almost beat Michigan State. Now they've had a lot of close losses this year, which may make that one win maybe be should on maybe you play these games over and over again. Maybe they're a 4 or 5 win team when we get to this game instead of a 1 win team. But nonetheless, like he can't allow 34 points to a team that's not scoring more than 20 most of the time. That's
Yeah.
it's so damning. That's so damning about this team right now.
Boston College's offense is ranked 100th in the latest SP Plus rankings. Boston College now obviously 1-10. They would lose to the average college football team, FBS college football team, excuse me, on a neutral field by 11 and 6 tenths points.
We were
They
15
are
point favorites. We were 15-point favorites on the road for this game. And
their defense, by the way, 126th ranked.
well, we still did our thing. And the stat that the team noted that was crazy was that we had 628 yards of offense. That was the sixth most ever in program history. But it shouldn't take 628 yards to beat a 1-win team. And yet here we are late in the season when we need to win everything we can possibly win because we don't have room for error at this point. Like we lose to Pitt, whatever. Who cares what bowl we go to? Because it ain't going to be the playoff. That's for damn sure. Um, this when we have humans looking at this equation of us of like, hey, they get now the playoff guy saying we got dominated on both sides of the ball against North Carolina State is absolutely bogus, and the fans know that that's bogus, and most people know that's bogus. Nonetheless, this is two straight games that do not make our form look good. If we only had to play offense, we are literally one of the top 10 teams in the country. Like we would be awesome. Haynes King is still in that Heisman conversation. That's great. But this is going if we don't solve something against Pitt, it's a home game. Thankfully, ACC Huddle's coming. All the normal vibe things that are good is happening. Uh, but I mean, what the? I mean, what? I mean, your note here, Blake Gideon. What do we do here? I don't know, man. Like, I know the talent can be better and they want it to be better. That's one thing, but that takes time. This is a you have these games in front of you got to figure out something. We can't just let dudes just get 40-yard passes at will anymore. It keeps
You
happening.
have it. I think that's what frustrates me the most about these two games in a row, especially given the time in between, right? You have
Right.
2 weeks to prepare to prepare for this, and you still come out the exact same way. Guys look lost defensively. You're allowing 555 yards to a 1-9 football team. Like what are you coaching midweek if this is the result, right?
Yeah.
I think I used to say, and I guess more recently I have said, like, hey, like this is a not having the dudes problem. But at a certain point, it eclipses not having the dudes
Yeah.
and like just usage. Like,
Yeah.
what are you scheming up? Like, what are they Like, what are these
Right.
guys looking at in terms of tape? What are they practicing every week? How are you running the scout team if
Right.
your defense looks lost
Yeah.
play after play? And the only stops that you're getting are not really PBUs, they're just they're mistakes from the offense.
Right.
Like you have to be able to create some sort of you have to be able to establish your own defensive stamp of the game, right? As a team, like obviously some of this is priors and bias with like the ranking and everything, and obviously the AP poll and the playoff ranking don't necessarily match what advanced metrics are saying. Nevertheless, but if you want to be a top line team, a like top 10, a top like 25 team, and be in this playoff conversation, you have to be able to smother these opponents. Like
Yeah.
as much as we like to poke fun at Miami, and as much as there's a lot of consternation about Miami being completely out of the ACC championship game, but still having a very clean shot at the playoff, like they basically put a pillow over NC State this
Yep.
week
They
and
did.
won 41-7. Like,
Yep. I mean, they validated why they were ranked ahead of us this week by the playoff committee. That's for damn sure. Because both of those games should have been smotherings, as you said, and ours was the exact opposite. And Miami transitive property just put the wood on a team that we looked completely lost against on the defensive side of the ball. Um,
but it's just frustrating. It's like these performances have gotten worse and worse. Like there's
yeah.
no, I think usually during the course of the season, ideally you want to see like defenses or units figure it out, right? You
Yeah.
want to see some growth, and then by the end of the season, obviously you're losing like n number of seniors, but you're saying okay, schematically they figured something out. Now let's layer it on top, layer
Right.
it on
Right.
top.
Right.
Let's find those green shoots so that we can build for next year. This year, week over week, I would argue it has been mediocre to bad and getting worse
Yeah.
every single week, where we're just sort of flying by the seat of our pants. The offense, obviously, I think as the season has worn on, has gelled a little bit more. Obviously, you're playing some really tough, I guess not so tough competition here between NC State's defense and Boston College's defense in the last two fixtures, where you're able to put up like these really gaudy offensive numbers and stat pad and try to get Haynes King to Radio City Music Hall. I guess isn't Heisman ceremony still there? Anyway, not important. But like the my point is like the offense is gelled. The offense is doing its job. Like you give Haynes King and his offense the ball, they're putting it in the back of the net, so to speak, right?
Yeah, for the
But
most part.
it's difficult when you're just saying, "Hey, we're just going to play the Big 12, like 2012 Big 12 football and try to score in every possession because we have to." You have
Right.
to get like two stops a game.
Yeah.
You have to get two or three stops a game, even and you want as many as possible because you saw that NC State game. If you're not able to defend your way out of a paper bag, what exactly is the point of having this offense that's so high powered
Yeah.
if you can't get one stop
Yeah.
to
This high
to end the
power
game?
this high powered offense. Well, great. We scored 19 in the fourth. Like it was pretty. That's pretty damn good. But they were never up by more than 7 during this game. Like there was no sense of domination of any kind whatsoever for an offense that should give you the ability to feel just that. And we've only really felt that against Temple, against Gardner Webb, and against Syracuse. And Syracuse basically was completely inept on offense, slash home game, slash homecoming, whatever. But yeah, it's if we don't have
They
a
really
perfect,
just sat on those two games, though, right? Like to your
yeah,
point, that those are the like VT maybe, and then
it
Syracuse,
was
and
fine. Yeah,
then yeah, Gardner Webb you can't even count because of the
no,
the the difference in division, but like
right.
or the difference in classification. But like what are we doing here? Like what good is a defensive coordinator if the defense isn't coordinated?
That might be the
Anyway,
episode title. Well, that might be the episode title. We'll see about that. Um, nonetheless, good. Yeah, it. Hopefully they have something figured out. I mean, I'm not. I mean, we're winning. I mean, I mean, of course, wins thankfully matter the most here in this grand scheme of thing, and the fact we have 9 of them is what's putting us up above the majority of teams in the sport right now. And if we have, I mean, that's the thing. We have had multiple games now where we have found ways to win in games that we should not have won. Uh, I think for all intents for just at least from game state, game feel, like we've had comebacks, we've figured stuff out. Um, that is a trait of this team that has not gone away in the midst of all this. I think North Carolina State was not a perfect version of that, of course, but like one side of the ball did the job they needed to do to set it up at least.
yeah, I think that's the point that you can come around the bend to. Like one, if you if like if Haynes King has the ball in his hands to end the game, like typically
It's
he's
we're
going to come
usually
out with a victory. I
yeah
think in
yeah
that game again, like you need two stops, right? You got one all game,
yeah
and you traded. And I think this is another game in which at points they traded field goals for touchdowns.
yeah
And you can go look at the bot for the exact analysis. Like the bot ends up being a little conservative for my taste on some of these, but like still you didn't make the most of the opportunities that you had and you ended up in a shootout, and then also your defense can't find its way out of a paperback, so
yeah
like
yeah
yeah, it's frustrating, but to your point, they're 9-1. Again, they're not super loved by the underlying metrics, but they're 9-1.
if you win you win
It's
yeah
If you win, you win. It's still the best season in a decade, and they have now collected as many regular or as many. Let's see, how do I want to word this? They have as many wins in a single season, or almost as many wins in a single
almost
season
one
as
more
Jeff Collins did
we need
in
one more
four.
we need one more and we're there.
You
um
need one more out of three guaranteed games. Pick one.
yeah yeah what I yeah we're at 3 guaranteed now. What I'm happy about now is that despite this 4 we are now above that like average predicted win total we had of 8. Like we said 8 made the most sense, and we won. I mean, this Boston College game is another one of those stupid ACC games that we would usually lose, and that was Wake Forest as well, and NC State ended up being that game. But like that, we coming out on the right side of those coin flippy ACC matchups that just happen every year, regardless of who we play, regardless of how good we are. This still happens. Miami's been subject to this. Everyone in the conference has been subject to this year, and we're doing just enough to stay on top of that. Schedule helps, of course. Some. I mean, this Pitt game could have been a ranked on ranked matchup, but it probably won't be when the rankings come out on Tuesday. Uh, but it's I mean we're at that point where you can choose to look at this as, and I think either is fine, as we should be good enough to win the conference, and if we don't, that's a disappointment, and I think that's completely fair given who we have right now. on offense. But you can also look at it as, oh, we've already hit gravy territory. We've already hit 9 wins. We haven't even played Georgia yet. We have another game before Georgia. That's crazy. That is crazy, and that is not what we saw coming this year. We knew it was a possibility, but it was not what we saw coming. Um, so I I think there I we all also now I'm choosing the former, which is we should win the ACC because that's what the team thinks they should do. Like that's where they're looking at, and I want to be in lockstep with where their heads are at and what they think is satisfactory, at least in season, and then we'll be happy about them no matter what at the end of the year. Um, One note that I thought was crazy: Rivers and Rutherford both had over 100 yards receiving. Uh, I didn't even know one of these other receivers in 2005 the last time it happened for the Jackets, but it was Calvin Johnson with 114 and Demarius Bilbo with 131.
There's a Lord of the Rings joke in here somewhere. We just have to find it.
It took him 20. See, this game was 20 years ago. I don't know. I don't got much there. Uh, Nonetheless, that a game where that's overshadowed by defensive problems. Let's make sure we're holding to the light that Kings 371 yards passing. That yardage stat. King's got 8 300-yard passing games now. He passed Joe Hamilton's record. Like this dude is now getting the passing stats beyond just their crazy rushing combined and passing stats at lower numbers. So that I mean the dude's when we look back on the season when we do our retrospectives in January, we're gonna be like, holy cow, like this is maybe a 5-win team without Hates King. Like it's insane what he's doing right now.
This is the type of player that makes you believe in like the concept of wins above replacement, right?
Exactly.
Like the
Yeah.
numeric concept of wins above replacement and be like
Yep.
you can probably put like you throw a dart somewhere in between 5 and 7 wins
Yeah.
that you can put solely on him. And
Yep.
it's pretty incredible what he's been able to do behind center. Like I think, like you said, when we do that retrospective, like one of the things that we will unabashedly miss about this team is seeing him look in immense pain every time the camera is on him.
Yep.
For better
Yep.
or for worse, I think we'll miss that.
Yep. You
Um,
mentioned Payne. Also, partly why this was so frustrating is we had only one guy hurt. And it was the long snapper. Like everyone was healthy for this. We don't even have that as an excuse. That's what's more damning than what we had against North Carolina State, where we were down guys. We weren't down guys this time. Like everyone was there, and this still happened. And Boston College
Frustrating.
was down effectively 3 teams worth of guys. Like they had like 20 something guys on their injury report. Like,
Frustrating. Very frustrating. Um, like Jack said, next week's game versus Pittsburgh, that is a 7 p.m. nighttime kickoff on ESPN on the 22nd of November. The opening line was just the home field advantage, Tech by, well, actually, it was right over the home field advantage. It was Tech by 3. It's dropped since to Tech by 2.5. SP Plus, if I'm doing this napkin math live for us, has it at that is point 0.5 advantage to Pitt. And then if you adjust for home field, that's Tech by 2 points. So the spread is right around there. I expect that to probably come down to Tech by 1, even by
it's a
the
coin
time the
flip.
game's played.
It's a coin flip. I mean, my
Yeah.
question here is like if King has to do this against North Carolina State and Boston College and barely beat one of those teams, what is he gonna have to do against Pitt? Because they are better. They're better than both these teams.
Yeah, Pitt has the 45th ranked defense on SP Plus, right? Like you're talking about a team that has substantially better DBs,
Yep.
substantially better linebackers, a much better pass rush. Like, how do you factor those into your calculus as an offense? And
Yep.
do you start breaking out more and more of the weird stuff earlier and
Well,
earlier?
I do think there's some things being set up in this game against Boston College because we didn't run anything like super like something we didn't see stuff that we hadn't seen that much before. Like they ran the screens that we usually see, but you know how basically every time Haynes Kane is gonna toss it to Jamal Haynes, he never actually does. Well, he tossed it to him like 4 times in this game. Like they didn't do the fake toss; they actually tossed it to whichever direction they were going. So they're slowly opening the can here on some things that can be different, that can't show up. And I'm sure. I mean, I'm sure Buster has something that we've got. Like we have to have something in the bag for this game. Like there's no going. Like if we lose this game, yes, go beat Georgia. Like that'd be fantastic. But I mean, the ultimate prize of January games that matter rests in this game. So you got to empty the tank here if the situation calls for it. And we're in a game state that requires something that Pitt's never seen.
See, you
And
say this, and then I'm like, but no, I want him to empty the clip on Georgia.
I mean both, and I would hope they have enough. Like I think we could still run enough of the same plays that we usually run, just win that and get some yards that way. But nonetheless, like for me, it's going to come down to, which I think this is the same for everybody. If the defense shows up, fantastic. We probably actually win. But otherwise, like we cannot be kicking field goals inside the 20-yard line again. Like you got to get six. Find a way to get do what you got to freaking do.
Man,
But there's been too many of these little cutesy fartsy plays near the goal line that either don't get 2-point conversions or don't get touchdowns, or we're having to rely on like good touch passes that aren't happening by Haynes King, like in the corners and stuff like that. Like dudes are just aren't open. Uh, we don't have a Drake London that can moss a guy and jump 10 feet in the air. Like that's not happening right now.
currently, neither do the Falcons.
Neither they
So
don't. Well, if you want to have a worse podcast, we'll talk about the Falcons. Um, Nonetheless, it's there's things that there's still things that have got to be cleaned up to be elite. We are borderline elite, just in terms of how well we can play and how well and what positions we can put teams in. But we're not there. We may have been there at one point this year, but we're not there right now, and that's all we have left is a good team. Like we will not play a bad team the rest of the season. We are out of those games are gone. That's it. Like it is Pitt, it is Georgia, it is probably Virginia. If we get there, and then I don't know, pick your Big Ten team in the Pop Tarts Bowl. I don't know.
ugh, ugh, ugh.
Yeah,
Scary. It's all very scary. Couple other notes about Pitt. They were throttled by Notre Dame, 37 to 15 earlier yesterday. They, I mean, that defense created a lot of havoc versus Notre Dame. So there's that, but they are. I mean, they're up for it. Obviously, Pat Narduzzi did not give a single iota
nope.
of care about this Notre Dame game, but man, they will bring it versus Tech. It just depends on if their offense shows up or not. Elsewhere around the Atlantic Coast Conference, Virginia beat Duke, which ended this very strange saga of people thinking the ACC was going to miss the college football playoff. This has been like a very weird thread this year of people like doing like, good job, dude. Like, go you ACC. It's so fun that the
Oh
ACC
god.
beats up on itself. Tee hee hee. It's aggravating. It is. I
Yeah.
think like it's
There's 3 1 loss teams. Is that not dominant? Like what the hell? Like
no,
what are we doing
when
here?
it's in the SEC, it's just that it's a quality of record and the quality of opponent. But when it's in the ACC, it's man, all these teams blow. So it's ridiculous. I'm increasingly sick of it, and it is just awful to watch ESPN outside of normal football games. Which it's normal to, it's like awful to watch ESPN out of sports as it stands, but it is
Yeah.
somehow worse now. Any of the punditry is just
Can can
aggravating.
can Feinbaum just start his politics career now because he just keeps just spouting off? I mean,
Be
I,
careful what you wish for with that one, and I think
uh,
that's the best.
he'll
That's
have.
where
I
we
mean,
should probably leave it.
he'll have to beat Bruce Pearl. We'll see how that goes.
Oh man. Virginia Tech sounds like they're close to hiring James Franklin, which is
That's
very funny when you
that's really
consider
fun. Yeah.
where Brent Pry came from as Penn State's defensive coordinator. Clemson outpipped Louisville, which was very funny. Miami, I think, like we mentioned earlier, just beat the brakes off of NC State. Wake Forest pipped Jordan Hudson's Fighting Tar Heels. And
Nice.
the entire West Coast was off this week ahead of big game I guess on the 22nd. Cal is going to put Stanford into a wood chipper, and it's going to be awful to watch. It's going to be great. Truly great. Truly, truly shocking. Truly great. That result is going to be fun for everyone involved, surely. Jack, how about we take a quick break? Let's do some podcast business. And then we have a whole slate of basketball and volleyball and then some NCAA stuff to talk about.
That we do. We cannot do this podcast without our help from our friends at Section 103. This week there was a lot of the popular items are back in stock. So if you're missing the hats, if you're missing the polos, if you're doing your Christmas shopping, it's all there. Buy it now because it's there now, and you can get 10% off using code FTRS and get free shipping for any orders over $100. If you got Georgia State friends, you got Kennesaw State friends, you got LSU friends, you can get that gear as well. Same code works all the same. If we beat teams, if we beat a ranked team, of course, that usually means a discount the next day. So fingers crossed for next Friday. We'll see what happens there. But nonetheless, get your stuff there. I'm probably gonna buy some stuff for my siblings actually. Now that I think about it, so there you go. Section103.com or at Section103 on Instagram. Use the code FTRS. Basketball.
Yes, let's talk about men's basketball. A weird week, a very weird week. They played two games at 9 p.m.
Yes.
And two games of vastly different importance in the same TV
Yes.
slot,
Yes.
which is crazy work by the powers that be. A 70-60 win versus Southeastern Louisiana. It was a Monday night at 9 p.m. There's probably not much more to say about this other than they won by 10 points and then a 5-point loss up in Athens. But it was close the entire time, which I don't love Pyrrhic victories or moral victories
So, but
in
it's
there. But these teams are like 40 places separated in Ken Palm,
yeah.
if not more. I think it was 40 places in the Bartorvik rankings, but like more in Ken Palm. So
Yeah, it's
eh.
fine. I mean, most Still has been doing well. He got 16 and 10 against Southeastern Louisiana, which is what you want to see. We had five guys in double figures against Georgia, like that. We don't have a dominant guy like running the show right now necessarily, but a lot of guys are contributing, which is good. Lamar Washington got 16 points in that game as well after he got to finally play against Sela. But yeah, I mean that Georgia game was close the whole time. Like that was a good watch. I didn't like that Blue Cane was kind of beating us up the whole time. Like that was a little annoying considering he did really used to play for us. Uh, and I mean, we had it close. And we had it tied at 66-66, and then a 9-0 run. Oh wait, that's the wrong game. Sorry. But it was close. It was close. I mean, we scored a lot though. Like 87 is good. I like that we scored 87. I don't like that we allowed 92. Now this is a home. This was our first real test though, which I think that's my positive sign here. This is our first like legit. Well, okay, UMez should not have been a real test, but it was. Uh, but on the road, Power Four opponent that could make the tournament this year. I don't mind. I don't mind that showing as it's a pure victory is not the best, but that's it. There's some positive signs here that we weren't seeing this early on in the last couple of seasons with Damon, and so this fully healthy squad with the guys that he likes. We'll see what can happen here. The ACC seems to as a better conference this year on basketball wise too, so the games are going to be harder. But if we can land a couple of these, we're gonna have the ACC SEC Challenge coming up soon, so we'll have some more good benchmarks here coming up. But I'd like to. You can read our coverage by Drew Gordon on the site. He's gonna be far more in tune than I am. But just our eye test from what we saw. I am not disappointed at this point for considering where we were last week after the UMass game, who then lost by like 60 to Georgia. So we're getting there. We're getting there. We're getting there. We'll see what happens. We're 3-1. So
Let's do a quick rankings update. Let's see. Bartorvik, Georgia Tech, 82nd in the Bartorvik men's rankings. And then if I go to Ken Palm, Georgia Tech, they are 87 there too. Or 80, they're 82 and then 87. I don't know. Words are hard. Basketball is frustrating as the women found out earlier today versus Jacksonville. But earlier this week they had a very quick clean win versus Charleston Southern, 87-40. But today versus Jacksonville, ooh buddy,
blew it. They blew it.
ooh buddy.
Straight up blew it. Erica Moon's back. I thought she was able to return after her injury against Princeton a week ago today. But yeah, Charleston Southern took care of that. Jacksonville, we had an 11-point first half lead. Like we were fine. And keep in mind, this is the Jacksonville from Florida. This ain't Jack State, who we occasionally play in most sports, at least lower tier sports. And yeah, Jacksonville played a pretty nitty gritty game. I did miss it, but of the recap that I watched, it was they had the tools. They made life tough for us, and they had a 9-0 run that put us away this in the fourth quarter, and we didn't have the stones to get it back. So uh, both these teams play West Georgia this coming week, the men and the women. And then we have the men play Georgia Southern first on Tuesday, and they we play West Georgia on Sunday. The women play West Georgia on Wednesday, and then we go to Stegeman and play Athens in a week on Sunday. So we're knocking out of the drivable games right now.
Just a real round robin tournament going on
I don't mind it.
around the basketball universe.
It's good. That makes
Gotta
sense.
add Kennesaw. Let's throw. Who else can we throw in there? We can
Kennesaw,
throw Mercer in
George
there.
Mercer's usually in there. Georgia State's usually in there. Like there's always three or four of them in there.
I mean, maybe you take Kennesaw or Mercer over Jacksonville. I don't know.
Might have to
Probably
next
would have
year.
helped
We'll
us
see.
strength of schedule. We'll see. Let's move on to volleyball, shall we? Now 15 and 10, 10 and 6 in the ACC, number 30 in the latest Evolve rankings. This past week they swept, excuse me, Clemson in a home and home 6-0. It does seem like Clemson really slept in
Yes.
those two games. Not much to report. I feel like Clemson, not typically good at volleyball.
No.
Tech took care of business. Jack, remind me, are they now guaranteed an over 500 season?
They are at 15 and 10. They are with 4 games remaining, at least 4 regular season games. And if so, we somehow went 0 and 4 and made some sort of tournament, we at worst we are guaranteed. At worst we go 0 and 1 in that. So that's nice. The problem is that every game we play except for Notre Dame is probably going to be a quick killing. Considering we play Louisville on Friday, Notre Dame on Sunday at home. That'll be hopefully win number 16. And then we got to play Stanford, and then we got to play Pitt again. And I don't like that we have to do that every Thanksgiving week. We have to play Stanford and Pitt and Georgia in football. That was the case last year as well. And all those games were just super numbing,
Miserable?
miserable, close games. Uh, the Stanford game is Wednesday at 9 o'clock in California. Then they fly home probably that night or the next day. I don't know how they're doing Thanksgiving. And then maybe they'll
We
go to
gotta, man,
something.
we gotta figure out how these travel effects work and affect these games because it's gotta be brutal.
And then
To
they
fly
go.
like economy cross country too,
It's
like
it's so bad. Yeah, though this was go back to my interview with Jen Yee a couple years ago, and she talks about this exact problem. And then we play Pitt at home on Saturday. So if you weren't already sick of it, or at least just sick of watching us play really tough teams and tough sports, well, you can do that Saturday afternoon if you happen to have tickets for the home and season finale against Pitt, who Olivia Babcock has hit 40 plus kills and over two in 2 games this year. Uh, and those are games where there's only haven't gone to 5 either. So, we're facing the gauntlet here. I mean, I remember watching Stanford when they came here, and they were very, very good. Uh, Pitt, very, very good. Of course, we at least got us. I think we fought decently hard up there, but still, I mean, these are brutal games. At least we get Louisville at home. We've beat them at home before. That is a whiteout game if you happen to be going, or at least for the students that might be listening that are going, please wear white to that game. Um, I'm glad they're doing senior day against Notre Dame instead of doing it the day after Thanksgiving, the day after the Georgia game on that Saturday home finale. That's nice. Um, so we'll see where this goes. I mean, I don't think I mean, they've certainly still got a bubble chance in the tournament merely because they've got the schedule. The strength of schedule is insane. They have the win over Purdue on the road early in the season, so they have a ranked road win, which is very nice. Um, but every other ranked game they've lost. They lose to Wisconsin, they lose to Miami, they lose to SMU, Pitt, North Carolina, Stanford, and then we'll see what happens these next. If we win one of these 3 games, if we win one of these 3 games against these tough teams, that gives us a chance. That gives us a chance to be playing postseason volleyball, which would be,
you
I
know
think,
what's
that'd be a huge accomplishment. I think for this team.
crazy? They're still getting votes in the coaches poll.
That's a sticky poll, man. Like people know, like people. I mean, Michelle. I mean, if there is any coach that has, I mean, Frankie obviously has a crap ton of respect right now, but with Bruce Hepler retiring, I think if you were to like, I think if you, I mean, this is very fine degrees, and this is just a vibe space assertion here, but I think if you like pulled like if you could like rate
Respectability
the
rankings.
respectability of our head coach in any sport, I think Michelle would be the leader in that in the volleyball sphere. Like People love what we do here as a volleyball squad, and they know we do some really good work, and we're hard and not fun to play usually. And so I don't think they're. I think I now I'm not. That is a coach's poll too, so like it's not there's not like a big outside media thing that can kind of just shove you down if they don't believe you. But people believe in Michelle even in an off year, so that says a lot about us.
Just a quick update on RPI, since that is more of a predictor of tournament access. They're currently 40th, so right in that bubble zone. I would
Yep.
agree with you there. They'll get potentially a late surge on their RPI with these last four games being against, let's see, Nebraska's number one, but Pitt is number five, Louisville's 10, and Stanford's six in RPI. And
Whew.
then if you look at the coaches poll,
Yeah,
flipping over there,
Louisville's.
Pitt's three, Louisville's seven, and
Yeah.
Stanford is five. So
Oh, baby.
yeah, you're playing the cream of the crop here, and you're just asking not to get hit in the face, I think.
If yeah, I mean, even set wins will hopefully do some real work here. Like I don't remember if they how closely they look at that. But
Scratch and claw.
get what you can.
Scratch and claw for what you can.
Make life hard.
Uh,
Get in the postseason because you never know who we could play. Like we could get a. I mean, we usually get a very unfortunate bounce when it comes to our postseason seeding. Like we have routinely been in the worst possible situation there. But you never know. I mean, the sport's very deep. I mean, this is a good. We have a good team. It's a young team, but it's still a good team. There's a lot of talent there. Garrett Baldy's been fantastic. Maybe Mambu's figured some things out. But like, if you're not like elite, like the teams we're about to play, like good luck. There's a reason the
I
top
mean,
five
even like
teams
last
wins
year,
every year.
even the last 2 years, I think we've been saying we've been saying, hey, like they're a step below the top eight teams.
Yeah,
Like, and it's impossible to break into the top eight. And now they're
it
a step
really is.
below the top 16,
Yeah,
the top 20.
yeah.
And now you're talking about just a harder mountain to climb. It's obviously like it's an off year, it's a rebuilding year, quote unquote, right? It's weird to say rebuilding when they're like 15 and 10.
It's great. It's
But
great. It's
it's
amazing
great to
that
have
we
a
can do that.
rebuilding year where you're 15 and 10 and playing an insane schedule. But
Yeah, yeah.
um,
Here we
yeah,
are.
it's here we are. Here we are. So Friday versus number seven Louisville, Sunday versus Notre Dame, and then two more games versus Pittsburgh and Stanford. Jack, what
Ooh,
else is going on around the flats?
a little bit of cross country. They had the NCAA South regionals. We both the men and the women finished ninth. We had 11 people finish in the top 100. Our women's finisher was Claire Sheldon, who finished 37th. And on the guys' side, Matt Castronova finished 45th. In diving, we had a diving only tournament at Macaulay recently. It was the GT Diving Invitational, very creatively named. Not a lot of flowery performances there, all things considered. Max Fowler got second in the 1 meter, but that was it. Like we won some consolation finals, but that's not much. So, uh, I wish Jake was here because I'm not too familiar on like in swimming right now. You're clearly not getting your best times, but like diving, you're just diving. Like, like you don't have speed to increase or anything like that. So I'm not. I don't. Please do not quote me on any diving expertise here of how you should be getting better over the season or what these results mean. But ultimately, we know Max Fowler always has a shot to do something special. So at least he's showing up in podiums, which is good. On the tennis side, the men. So we had signing day across all the sports you may have seen. Softball had a lot of signings. I think there were some baseball ones. Volleyball had a couple that were announced that have been known for a while. But we got one in tennis, which was kind of a surprise. Mason Taub, I think Talby, I think is how you say it. He's from Sandy Springs. He is the number one prospect out of the state of Georgia for the class of 2026. And a note here on how they do rankings. 5-star isn't the best in tennis ranking. It's 5-star blue chip. If you got a blue chip, you're a little bit better. And that's what he's got. He's a 5-star blue chip at a state. That's the guy that you would lose to Georgia pretty regularly, but we got him coming here. So hopefully that means a lot of good things in the future for our tennis squad. Also on the baseball side, we know some games are out there. We know at least the Georgia game is scheduled. That is April 21st at Truist Park. So if you're looking to go to that game, that we know the date of that game. The team hasn't announced the schedule yet, but there are some teams that have announced that they're playing us when they did their full schedule releases. I don't know why we're always late to the game on schedule releases, but that seems to be the case. But whatever. I think we're playing. I think Duke's one of our. I think we have a Duke series in there somewhere.
Here, I have a list. So hosting Duke, but avoid Stanford and Louisville, which
Right.
I
Okay.
would say is honestly very good
That is. That
considering the
is.
quality of both those programs. But Duke is tough.
I'll,
Duke
I'll,
is a tough draw, but you get them at home, so that takes the edge off a little bit.
takes it a little bit. Yeah.
I'm looking at the signing day stuff very quickly. Obviously, both of the baseball commits are from Georgia, and one of them is from the Georgia city that shares a name with the Egyptian capital, but doesn't say it the same
Cairo,
way.
Georgia.
So that's always fun. Scrolling through these very quickly. Swimming once again does their multinational, international thing where they have
How many Turkish people?
only one
Only
Turkish
one Turk.
national.
Okay.
Funnily enough, from the Galatasaray swimming academy, which is very funny
Yes.
if you're a soccer person. But so they have commits from Switzerland, Turkey, and Israel.
Wow.
So
We've
pretty
had some we've had some Israeli swimmers for a while here, so that checks out. Switzerland's new.
that
That's Switzerland's new. That's interesting.
Switzerland is new, and I'm very curious to hear how that one got put together. Um, I also cannot pronounce the name of that swim club, and I'm not even going to try because that's impossible. Jack, anything else? Anything else that we didn't cover? We've covered a lot of ground today.
We did a lot. This was a fast week.
628 yards worth, I would say.
Oh man, don't compare me to Haynes King like that. I can't. We're not there yet. I mean, we've got experience. We've got our sea legs under us, but we're not. Well, if you look at our listener numbers, I mean, football winning does give us some of our most listened to episodes. So I guess we're doing something right here.
We're
Uh,
closing in on number 300, Jack.
I
If
gotta.
you, I honestly, for like, have messed up counting these episodes so many times before, so we might already be past
I
300.
think
But like,
I did actually index this one time, and I think we are technically off by like only like one. So 300 is close enough. And I pray to God it's a really good week in January when we could do 300. Um, that'd be great. But nonetheless, I think the last thing I want to note is there are football tickets out there for the Pitt game. Uh, if you can be there, you should be there. That'd be really cool. I mean, last home game of the year, and then Georgia. So, and we are there's a world out there still where, in theory, if things somehow weirdly still go our way, we might host a playoff game, but that is so far down the line and so unlikely that don't count on it. If you can make it to this game, come to this game. I know we got friends of ours from the Slack that are, or at least our internal Slack that are driving up from Macon for this game, which is really cool. So it's if you can get here, get here. It's a night game, so I mean, we might need to do some hotel situations or crash at a friend's place. But hey, if you can get
yeah,
here,
book those hotels soon is
yeah,
what I'm saying because tickets are already, or sorry, hotel prices are already ridiculous.
yeah, it's gonna be a lot, but it's hey, it's still a good time on campus. It's still a very good time on campus. I think the only other random sports note is there was a electric NASCAR prototype on campus earlier this week that
I
was getting
did see
demonstrated.
that.
That was a cool thing. I didn't get to go see it myself, but we have I mean, for those that have been at Tech recently, know we have a very strong racing scene in the building of cars and things like that with our solar team and other car-based teams. So, um, it'd be really cool if we had I mean, I'm not okay. In the next 50 years, I would not rule out a GT student becoming at least an F2 driver. I wouldn't rule that out. I wouldn't rule that out. I think there's something there.
I think you can get poly market odds on that, Jack.
So,
Surely.
someone bet that for me. We're in the state of Georgia. I can't bet. We're not legal here yet. All right, that's it. That's all I got.
That's it. All right, take us out.
All right. If you like the show, please, I mean, seriously, if you got a second, just do that little 5-star thing. It really helps us out. We know there's a lot of people out there that want to listen to this podcast that just don't know what's out there. This is Scions in the Southland. This is by Georgia Tech alums for Georgia Tech alums and everyone that loves Georgia Tech. You can find our work at fromtherumbleseat.com. I put up some stuff. Akshay puts up some stuff when I ask him once a year. There's a bunch of other people like Maggie. There's Steven. There's Chris, there's Drew, there's people putting up stuff all the week. I put up the main recaps up there. You can find our live game coverage and other thoughts on our Twitter and Blue Sky at FTRS blog. My personal is Jack Nicholas. Jake is at Jake Grant 98 when he's out there on the Blue Sky. Please check out Section 103. They're awesome at section103.com. You can find this podcast wherever fine podcasts are sold or on YouTube. We don't do video, but we've at least got the audio there for your enjoyment. Thanks for listening. Come see us this weekend at the Pitt game. Good night. Go Jackets.